Hello everyone, it's QuickFlix here, and the new trailer for Zootopia 2 has a ton of interesting details. From the charges brought against Gary, the snake, who will be the central character of the sequel, to important details in the context of the history of the entire animal town. The trailer begins by introducing us to Dr. Fazby, a psychotherapist who helps police officers with difficult relationships. From the typical cartoon fear of mice and elephants, to the conflict between a deer and a female honey badger, because the latter instinctively perceives the former's smile as a threat. In the background, you can see several posters calling for people to help their little ones and control their fear. Why does the bear have a black eye? The wolf beat him up, and now he's grinning. And in case of unpleasant sensations during the session, there is a safe word, coconut, so as not to subject the animals to unnecessary stress.
The board also contains standard psychological points about how important it is to listen, be honest, not set expectations too high so as not to be disappointed, and not be afraid of experiments and showing emotions. Here we learn that Judy and Nick became partners just a week ago. We've been officially partners for a week now. This means that very little time has passed since the events of the first part, because at the end, the fox had just finished his training and went on his first day of service to patrol the city with the Jude. But if the rabbit is serious about her work, Nick is still very immature and acts as before, which irritates the proper Judy. And in the second part, they will have to learn to understand each other and become even better partners than they were. Next, we see Captain Buffaloson's office, where in the background we can now see several new newspaper clippings, one of which is titled Justice in the City, and the second states that the man pictured has been appointed chief of the 2nd Precinct, the northern one, for a term. Most likely we could already see him in the teaser.
The boss is proud of his achievements. Bogason then tells Judy and Nick that if they fail this case too, he will give them other partners. Apparently, these two have been up to quite a bit of mischief in the past week alone. Sometimes it's one's fault, sometimes it's the other's fault. That's why they were referred to Dr. Fazbi. Even on Judy's locker, you can see that she captioned a photo of them together with the word losers, implying that things aren't going so well for them yet. Lisa and Kralchia are talks with catching Gary, who, according to the document shown to us, is accused of theft, racketeering, vandalism, escaping from the police, forgery of documents, and criminal conspiracy. And we see a bunch of dates from December to November, as if he committed all these crimes during the year, which sounds amazing how a snake in Zootopia could remain unnoticed for such a long time if the reptiles have not been seen in the city for a very long time. There haven't been any snakes seen in Zootopia for ages, as if it was being blamed for a bunch of crimes simply because it wasn't supposed to be there. But despite the threat of dismissal in the teaser, we already see that in the end, the main characters will decide to help the snake, and together with it will run away from the police. In another scene, we see how Snap Nude showed up at an extremely important event where the entire elite of the city had gathered and scared them all. Perhaps it was this event that alarmed the police under the influence of the unrest of such noble persons.
After all, even the new mayor of the city, Vindancer, is present here, having replaced the Sheebzlada Griva after the infamous scandal that occurred. According to the creators, he was a famous actor in the past, and it was precisely due to his popularity that he managed to get most of the voters' votes, thus referring to the career of Arnold Schwarzenegger. Next to him are the Braxton and Zibrovsky. Their names can be seen near Judy's locker. They are police officers too. This can be understood from the token on the chest of one of them, and apparently the authorities assigned them to guard the mayor himself, and they wear civilian clothes so as not to attract unnecessary attention to themselves. Although such outfits are not at all suitable for such an elegant ball. In another frame, you can already see the building in which the event is taking place. This is clearly Tundra Town, where, by the way, Mr. Big lives. We can also see him in another scene, where Frou Frou's daughter, apparently, asks Judy Nick to kiss her ring with a huge stone, and her grandfather insists on this. Perhaps the visit to Mr. Big and the events in Tundra Town are somehow connected. It was not for nothing that Rabbit and Alice dressed up like that, in exactly the same style as all the guests standing here.
But on the other hand, it would be strange to see the mayor of the city at an event of a local mafioso. This really smells of corruption in this case. It is either their family holiday or a celebration of the inauguration of the new mayor. But why it takes place in Tundra Town then is unclear. However, even the cocktail attendant was assigned to regulate the roads and direct guests to the event. The event must be extremely important. In another scene, Vindancer presents the city's residents with a new statue in the form of a racehorse with a top hat. From one of the interviews, it is already known that this is one of the founders of Zootopia, and the flight we saw in the teaser is actually his descendant, now a representative of an extremely influential family in the city. His predecessor wrote a history book, now considered extremely ancient, describing in detail the internal structure of the climate wall, which allows the city to be divided into several climate zones, heating Sahara City and maintaining a low temperature in Tundra Town. And what's interesting is that at one point in the trailer, you can see some kind of book in Gary's mouth. Yes, that same book, written by one of the founders of Zootopia, which, as is already known, became the center of the whole scandal. But why would reptiles need a book describing the structure of a climate wall? What if cold-blooded people had a negative reaction to artificially created climate zones, and mammals in the past simply drove out of the city a whole other subspecies of animals? What if there's a reason the reptile isn't in Zootopia? This book probably exposes all the founders of the city, and that's why it's so important for the police and the city's mayor to find and capture Gary.
After all, the charges brought against him in this case clearly look bogus, and the main characters, having learned the truth from the snake, decided that the truth should be revealed to the entire city and literally went against not only the government and the law, but also all the elite top brass of Zootopia. But it would seem that Buffalo Santa is for justice in the city, but he acts differently. With one of the cartoon's presentations, more information became known about this lizard from the teaser. To give you an idea, his name is Jesus, after the basilisk lizard, also known as the Jesus Christ lizard, so named because it is capable of running on the surface of water for a short period of time. And, so you understand, he is a frequent guest at the Marsh Market, the swampy part of the city. Yes, this is despite the fact that reptiles haven't been seen in Zootopia for a long time, but apparently Jesus doesn't count. It is to him that Judy and Nigel Baber-Nibus will be advised to turn when they ask him about Gary. New footage from the Marsh Market shows the shell hut, the coffee tusk, and a sign that says, "Cabbage Kings, Old Marsh Fair, come join the fun." And these hippos are apparently local bikers. Look, even their denim jackets are the same, with a typical biker pattern in the center. One of them has a tattoo of dolphins on his back, which will probably also appear in the sequel. Although small fish and bugs are not considered intelligent species in the Zootopia universe, they are what local predators feed on, which the authors, according to the interview, plan to fully reveal in the second part. However, in the teaser and trailer, we can already notice the presence of walruses, that is, aquatic mammals. And these also include dolphins, whales, and killer whales, which logically should also be an intelligent species within the Zootopia universe. On the one hand, it's strange when everyone around you eats people like you, but on the other hand, dolphins also eat fish. Zootopia 2 will also feature the return of the Gazelle, voiced by Shakira. But recently, it became known that we will see a specially written joint song for the sequel by Shakira and Ed Sheeran, who will also obviously appear in the cartoon in the form of some kind of animal. And apparently, his appearance is still being carefully hidden. After all, neither the trailer nor the teaser yet show an animal singer who in any way resembles Ed Sheeran. Imagine if he were a mysterious villain in a cloak. Further in the frame, with the snack machine, you can see several drinks with funny names: Fluffy Cola, Cola Cola, and Carrot Soda, which will just break through the wall with a mink. The police station also has all sorts of motivational posters hanging up, urging people to do their duty, not forget about training, and squash bugs. And on this little guy's desktop, you can see a cute photo of his little daughter. So what excited the fans the most? The unusual writing on Judy and Nick's t-shirts in this scene. "Don't worry, keep jumping and Daddy Fox." But given all the circumstances that only a week has passed since the first part,
and that they still have obvious problems in their relationship. Even at work, they are clearly not a couple yet. Perhaps they will become so by the end of the second part, I don't know, but for now fans are clearly just being teased. And most likely it will just be a small joke, when the main characters just put on whatever was lying around at hand and then laugh at each other's inscriptions. Well, for now, we'll wait for new details about the cartoon. And that's all for today. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. And Quick Flicks was with you. Thanks for watching, and bye. Yeah!